We are still on the techniques of data importation and exportation in R. So we are looking at some of the ways you can do that. Also looking at packages which have been made and tailored for those specific tasks. So we'll just proceed from where we stopped last time. I know we looked at read CSV2. We looked at using the import data set in the RStudio interface. We also looked at read the lim2, and look at how they are used and why they are different from one another. But today we are looking now at one which is called, yes, we also looked at the read table, which we said is one of the most used functions to import data, read CSV, read the lim, read CSV2, and all that, okay? But today now we are going to look at another very, very, very useful package that is called Rio, to import and to export data. And Rio, it's an acronym that is R input and output package, okay? And it is used to actually import and export different types of data, just the way that we saw Excel, XLSS, TSV, RDS, and etc. But the beauty with R package, as we'll see shortly, it is possible, it makes it possible for you to import and export data of different extensions. Actually, there's so many extensions that you'll find, that you'll see. There are those which people consider obsolete, but R package still works and imports data of those extensions, okay? Now, moving forward with data exportation and importation, in particular importation, there is something that we also need to discuss, and this constitutes the location of the data sets, okay? Where is that particular file stored? So that when you are importing, number one, do you need to import this file manually, okay? Do you need to give the entire path of where that file is stored? Or do you need to give relative paths? And relative paths, these ones are paths which are relative to the R project. Absolute paths, you give the entire path, okay? Do you see that the way we actually look for the path where a certain thing is? You copy that path and you paste it into that function. So we need to actually look at how the effects of providing different paths, how does it affect importation of data, okay? So now, as we look shortly, the description that is given for the Rio package in RStudio, they call it a Swiss Army knife. And as you know that the Swiss Army knife is a metaphor of how something is useful, the usefulness of something, and also adaptability, okay? Now, Rio has two very important functions. The first one is called the import function, and the other one is called the export, okay? These ones are used just the way they've actually been named. For import, it is used to import. For export, it's used to export data files of different formats, okay? And using the Rio package, it is also possible to collect, to actually connect to relation databases, something like SQL, Mongo database, and etc. You are able to connect to those databases, okay? So we can go to R, and And let me just type here Rio so that we look at the definition of Rio. So I'll come here and you can see the description which has been given here is that this is a Swiss Army knife for data input, for data input and output. Okay, that's it. That is a description which has been given here, and you can see that further description says that the aim of Rio is to make data file input and output as easy as possible. Okay, and this the export and the import function serves as a Swiss Army knife for painless data importation and for data input and output of data of various formats. Okay, and if we go back, you will see that there are so many formats that that can be used when you're importing data. Maybe we'll look at it later. Yeah, we'll look at that later. And the other function, though it will be beyond the scope of this class, it is that it is also used to convert different data formats. Okay. So now, even before we go to use or we start using in the import and the export function, we need first of all to install. We need first of all to install our, that's the R script. So for my case, since I've already installed, what I'll need to do, I'll just need to load that Rio package. Okay, it's already installed. But for those who have not installed, you can come here where there's certain packages. You can click on packages, then you can click on install, and you can search for that package. So you can type, for example, Rio, and it has suggested for you that there's one which is called Rio. So you can click on that, and you can also check this box where it says install dependencies. You can check on that and click install. So for me, I've already installed, but if I'm not installed, you can just do that. It will take about a few seconds for you to install. So you click packages here, come to install, and type Rio. Then you click on Rio, ensure that this is checked. Then you can just proceed and click install. Then that will install the Rio package for you. I know there is another way that Ashna showed us last time, where you can use Pacman as well to install. Okay, so I can run that. So it has loaded now my Rio package. Okay, now and you see, as we have said, that the Rio package is a Swiss Army knife of a file or data input and output, and it ensures that this one is done in a painless way. So you see, we only need for us to read files in R using the Rio package. We just need to call the import function. Okay, but now, as much as we are calling the import function, we also need to know the location or where that specific data file is stored. Okay, and from today, at least for the next few sessions, we are going to use a data set which is called hiv.xlsx. Maybe I will let me just open it so that we look at it. So this data set that we are going to use today, it is a HIV data set whereby let me increase the font. This one is a HIV data set for patients. So in the first column, we have the ID. So it was assigning numbers to the patients who are going to that clinic. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and etc. Then for each patient, the age was recorded, the gender was recorded, then the HIV status. So when it's 0, it means that that person was HIV negative. Then for the patients who are HIV positive, the CD4 count was also recorded, and the viral load was also recorded. So this is just a sample data set from a clinic of the patients who are going there, who are being tested for HIV. So those who are positive, the CD4 count was recorded, the viral load was also recorded, and the status and the gender as well. Okay, so from now henceforth, we'll be looking at that HIV data set. It has the extension XLSX, so it's a Microsoft spreadsheet, and it's the one we will use. Okay, so and the first task for today will be the manual file selection. Okay, we're going to do the manual file selection, and we'll still read it in we'll use Rio to import that file. Okay, so now besides Rio, and I often don't see people using this, but it's just good to know that it exists. There's a function which is called file.choose, and this file.choose, once it's an argument in the import function of the Rio package, it will prompt you to look for where that file is in your computer. Okay, so what are we saying as Mary J is sending the file? So suppose I want to give the name. I'll call that file HIV data, the one that I'll be importing. Then I say import. Okay, yes. That Excel file has been posted in the chat, so you can download it and save it into a folder, which we will be able to access it as we proceed. Okay. So now, inside this import function, if I say file.choose, sorry, it's a function that will allow me to manually locate where that file is. Okay. So on running, if I run this line now, you can see it opens up a dialog box that allows me to select where that file is. So in this case, it is saved in a folder which is called class session, and this folder is in my desktop. Okay, I can see there is that HIV data.xlsx, that is the Microsoft spreadsheet. So I can click on it and say open. So you may notice that once I click open, that data is loaded into my R environment here. Okay, this one here on the top right of my screen where there's environment. Once I've clicked open, that data was loaded, and you can see it has 6 variables and about 1,500 observations. So the number of patients who are checked in that clinic was 1,500. Yes, there's that file there. So it's HIV_data.xlsx. So now, on using the file choose, I was able to load that data in my environment. I can come here and say view, if I want to look at what is contained in that data, HIV data, and if I run that line, it opens up for me that file. And you can see it is the same file that we were looking at when I opened it using the Microsoft Excel. So there's ID, there's age, there's gender, HIV, CD4, and the viral load. Okay, so it's the same data. So you can use you can run view HIV data because that's the name of the data. That's the name of the assigned to that data. Or I can just come here in my environment and double click on that data. That will also work as the same way as view. That is the first way that that we can use to manually select where that file is. So import, file choose, then once you run that line, you'll be prompted to select where that file is. Okay. And that I can say it may not be that common in practice, because you may wish that your file to be loaded automatically when you run that script. So we look at other techniques. The other technique that you can look at is when you want to use the absolute file, or you want to give the complete path of where that file is. But we're still in the import function. So let me comment on this. I don't want to run this again. And also, I can clear my environment so that we start afresh. So if I run Rio, yes, now we have Rio. The next one, as you've said, is that I can have HIV data, but what I want to do, I want now to give the full path. So this is number 2, using the full path of the file. Okay, give the full path. So now I need to go to where my data is, and where my data is, depending on the operating system that you use, you can copy the full path where it is, and you come and paste it there. And remember, you have to use the quotation marks when you're pasting that. Okay. So we will be checking on the environment to see that if I run line number 9, will it load my data in the environment? So let me run that. And you can see once I run line number 9, it has also loaded the same file here. So the first technique, we were manually selecting that file. This second technique, we're using the full path of that file, where that file is located. It's located in my desktop in a folder which is called a class session, and the file name is called hiv data.xlsx. So once I run that line, it loads that data in my environment. And the same thing, we can come and view whatever we've actually loaded there, and we'll see if we run that, we are able to actually view that data. Okay. So the first thing, manually selecting. Number 2, we were giving it the full path. So it's just the import function, and inside this quotation marks, you give the full path of where that file is. Okay. Any question up to that point? Simon Ernest, I've seen you've typed import file.choose. Do you have any question concerning that? Yes, can see Simon. Yes,
Yes,
Simon.
thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I was trying to write something in between, then I wrote that. But what I'm seeing is that in the import file choose, we still have 2 brackets that
Yes.
not been used, so I wanted to know the essence of two brackets in between before the full brackets outside ones between the file and choose. That was my question.
Okay, so if I get you right, what you're asking the use of these two brackets here, the ones that I've highlighted there.
Yes.
Normally, brackets are used to actually indicate that this is a function, okay? So it can be a function or what people call a method, in that it can have inputs or it cannot have inputs, or rather arguments. So in this case, file.choose, this choose is actually a function or a method, and it doesn't have to have arguments, okay? So that is it has the parentheses because the brackets is used when you're actually creating a function, the inputs of a function.
Thank you
Yes,
very
and
much.
okay, no problem. I can see also Ashna has contributed to that. Okay. Now, there is also another way. Now, you can see the second technique where we were using the absolute paths. If I may go back to my R script, you can see that this was my first technique where we used the file choose. There's a second technique now where we were giving the full path of the file. Now, we can ask ourselves, suppose I am to share this R script with somebody else, okay, who will go and use this file in a completely different computer. What will happen? We are likely to experience a breakdown. And that breakdown will be because even if this person has that HIV data.xlsx somewhere in this computer, chances are very high that the paths will not be the same. So you are likely to encounter an error in that case. And that's why we actually say that in this note here, we are saying that absolute or full paths are fragile, okay? And they are unique to user-specific computer. If it's my computer, if I give it to somebody else, that file may not be the same, and you're likely to actually have a break when that script is running, okay? Now, this brings us to also another way of describing paths in the Rio package that is used in together with the Rio package, and that is what is called the here package, okay? So if I go back to my R script again, so what I'll do, I'll come and say library. Sorry, I've already installed the package here. So you use the same strategy. So you'll come here, install, and look for what is called here package. And you can see R has suggested for me that there's this one here. So you click on here, install dependencies is checked. Then you can install. I've already installed it. So you can do the same as well. And once you install it, you can also run it so that we load it in our environment. So now I'll have in the next technique, I'll have two packages. One of them is Rio, the other one is here. Okay. Then beyond that, I would also like you to do something. You will go to your console because now we have to define paths relative to our computers. I know paths are different. So what you'll do, sorry, let me just clear my my command window so you can, my console, so you can say get WD. So get WD, what this one will do, it will tell you which directory you are in, okay? So in this case, the directory that I'm in, it's called users and DKG. That is specific to my computer. Okay. So let's call this technique number 3, which is called using the here package. Using the here package. So we have installed here and called it in our script. So anyone with a problem in installing here package, so you just go to package install as Ashna showed us here. You click on that here, install dependencies, then you just click install to install it for you. Then you come on and call it here. Okay. Now, yes, Patrick, you can use Control+L to clear your console. So now, if we go now and have HIV, so now okay, I can call it data, but let me just call it HIV data too, so that then we call import, then here. So let's go back first to our slides and look at what here is talking about. So here, the here package is actually used to build the path, and it's actually used to build the path when the directories and subdirectories are known. I hope that is clear. The here package is used to build the paths if the directories and subdirectories are known. Now, in that matter, here, I know, because I've said that I can use get wd to know the directory that I'm in, or the working, or what we refer to as the working directory. Then from my end, I know that yes, I am at users DKG, but I also know I'm in a desktop class session, and that is where that file is. So which directories do I need to have now? I need to have the desktop directory, I need to have the class session, and the name of the file. Okay? And the name of the file. So now, you can see here, e-learning, that is a directory, HIV data, a subdirectory, and finally the path. Sorry, and finally the file. So let's go. Let's come here. So what I'll do, I am already in users DKG. So what I do, the next directory is desktop. Then comma. The next subdirectory I know is what is called the class _ session. And that is it, because now inside this folder, which is called the class session, that is where my file is located. And that file is HIV _ data.xlsx, like that. Okay. So my let's go back again. My folder is in the desktop, class session, and HIV data. Okay, that's how it's supposed to be. Now, let me comment. Let me just comment these ones, and also clear my. Let me also clear my. As Patrick has said, Control+L, you clear your console. So now, if I run this script now, let me also clear my So this one is called HIV data 2. Okay. Now I'm using the here package. I've loaded the Rio and here. So if I run this, you can see it has also loaded the HIV2, HIV data 2, which is this file here, line 15. Okay. But simply because I have described the directories and the subdirectories, and finally the file. Okay. That is how we use the import function and the here function. So here function is included in the here package. Okay. So these two, in this case, will have to be loaded first so that we can use this function. And again, you can still view your data there. Okay. You can run that command, it will show you, or you can just come and double click on your environment here where that data is. That will still work. Any problem with that? So and something else that you'll actually see now is that this users DKG desktop class session HIV data, it is the full path that we gave in the second technique. Okay, only that I have now to actually give the name of inside the here function. I need now to give the names of the other directories like that. Okay, but at the end of the day, it is able to recreate that whole path where that data file is. Okay, so those are the three ways that that we can use in locating the specific file or a specific folder where our data file is stored. Okay, and that's why it is always good to know that when you're actually saving, you know which folder you have saved that file, so that it becomes easier to actually trace and get that path. Okay, so any question up to that point? So any question up to that point? Okay. Now, okay, as you can see, there's a question. Maybe you can check on that. Okay, Jire is saying, please, the Excel file isn't loading in the system. Okay. Okay, so I can attribute that to two things. Number one is the path. Where is the path to that file? That's number one. Number two, the naming of that file. If, for example, you say HIV underscore data, while the way you saved the file is HIV data, then that there will be a disconnect there, because your script will be looking for HIV underscore data, while the actual name of that file is HIV data. Okay. So maybe Jire, what I can advise you look at where the name of that file, whether it coincides to how you're calling it in R. That's number one. Number two, you also look at the path, whether that path is complete. Okay, it has all the directories and the sub directories. Okay, if all of them they're correct, then the other thing can be maybe you have not run these two lines, the library Rio and library here, because you need to actually run them so that you can load their functionalities in your script. Then now, if you have that HIV data.xlsx, you may have noticed we have different sheets. Okay, it is the same. Yes, if you open that HIV data.xls file, you realize that we have two sheets. There's one which is called HIV data, and the other one is called the sheet name. Okay, it's just called the sheet name. So where you may need, or rather, you need to define a specific sheet. Maybe you want a specific sheet. You want a specific sheet in that data set. How can you actually load that specific sheet name? So inside the import, so we will use inside the import, we can now come here and say which. Okay. Now under which we give the specific name. So in this case, just for argument's sake, let me say that I want this one, which is named HIV data. This one here. Okay, HIV data. So I come here and give that name, HIV data. Okay, which means that now it will load that specific sheet and nothing else. So we can run this now, and if we actually run it, it means that now it has just loaded the sheet which is called HIV data. Okay, it has gone to that folder, gone into HIV data.xlsx and look for that specific sheet name, which is called HIV data. Okay. Yes. So that is how you can also use import to actually look for specific sheet names. Then and remember, we actually see that on reading the XLSX file, R imports the first sheet by default. You import the first sheet, but now this option of using which ensures that we specify the exact sheet that we want. So that can be used when the here function is used, or you can also use it when you just have the import function. It doesn't matter. Okay. Any question up to that point? I know some of you may have a question about this line, the way it is written, that HIV data, Rio, the two full colons, then import. Okay. This one enables us. Okay, maybe we can do it practically. I remember Ashna covered it, but we can just remind ourselves. We just remind ourselves here. So in this case, if I have not loaded the Rio package, I've not loaded the Rio package, I can actually use the import function, which is a functionality in the Rio package, by calling it this way. Okay. So HIV, so R will interpret this is that I want to use the Rio package, and inside the Rio package, I want to use the import function. Okay. That is if you actually want to use the Rio package and you don't want to load it using line number 1. Okay. This is also another way that you can actually use that package. So now that is the Rio package. Now the other package that we can use is what is called the readxl, but I normally don't see the need to use readxl and read.csv if we have already done the real package, because I consider the real package to be like more superior than the readxl, because like the readxl package, this one is just tailored to read Excel files. Okay, it's just tailored to read Excel files into R, and it is built in a way that you don't need any other dependencies, and it is easy to install. Okay, you can install it the same way. So let us also look at how we can use. Let me open a new script now. You can come here, click Add Script, so you open a new script. So now you can come to install this readxl. You can see there's that suggestion there, readxl. Then you can click install. Okay, but since I already have it, I can library readxl, that one there. Okay, so what do I want to do? Let me call it HIV data. Okay, I would like to read Excel. Then I can provide that that path. Okay, I can provide that path, and where is the, I can copy it from the other file. This is the whole path where I want to go. So I can come here, click, okay, I need to remove that one, but it's only one. Then if I run this, you can,
I think you might be missing a quotation mark at the end of
oh,
the file
yes.
path.
Yes, thank you, Ashna. Thank
No
you.
problem.
Yeah. Yes, perfect. Thank you. And it also does the same thing. So readxl is a package, but this one is specifically tailored for Excel files. And the same way now, but the way one selects a specific sheet in readxl is that for import we were using the word which. For readxl it is using the word sheet. So we can come here. I know there's another sheet we have created. So we can okay, sheet suggested for us. Then let me look at the other name. The other name is HIV data 2. Let us call it HIV data 2, like that. Let's call it. Yes, now it will actually read it will read for us the sheet that is called HIV data 2. Okay, that is on readxl. So now we have done a lot of importation of data into R. Okay, all those techniques we have looked at, but we have not looked at how we can actually export. Okay, for me, I really find that the real package, the export function is actually more than enough. It works perfectly. Okay, and how do we write files into R? So in this case, we can use the export function. Okay, and it is used in a similar way as the import function. And the only thing that you need to do, you need to give the name of how that file will be exported. Which name are you giving it? Okay, and also the file extension. So like in this case, I would like to export what is called the HIV data, and I want it to be exported and given the name HIV data clean.xlsx. Okay. Now, This one is considering that your R script is in the same folder where HIV data was. So it will save for you in the same folder. Okay. But for the case where you want to save it in a different folder, then you have to give the path here. You have to give the whole path here. So let's see what happens here. When I come here, I have this data, and I would like to this HIV data. Let us call it HIV data, maybe 4. I want to export it, and the way I want it exported, I want it to be exported and given the name HIV data clean, okay, and it's still it will still be a spreadsheet, okay. Now I can decide, for example, I want it saved on my desktop, for example. I don't want it saved on my in the same folder where this other file is. I want it to saved on my desktop. So what do? I can use the export function, and I also need to load Rio. Sorry. Library. Sorry. So let me run this too. Oh, I need to run this as well. Then once I come here, okay, HIV underscore. Okay. Let me run that and run that. Okay. So now remember, I want to export HIV data underscore data 4, and I want it saved in my desktop. Remember, the other file was in class session. Now I wanted to save it in my desktop. So let's go to my desktop and see whether there is that file there. So I can click the desktop there, and it's true, it has been exported there, and it has been given the name HIV data clean. Okay, so that export function, as we have said, in the quotes, you need to put the path where you want to save the file, including the desired file name and file extension. So I have given it the path. So because I've said that I want to save it on my desktop, so I've given the path to my desktop. Then my desired name was HIV data clean, and dot xlsx. Okay. Yes. That is how the export function works. Okay. But also, another way that you can also export files is by using what is called write.csv. You can see there's also write. If you just type in your script write, it will suggest for you. Do you want to write write xlsx? Do you want to write .csv? Do you want to write csv2 and etc? Okay. For write xlsx, you may need to import. Sorry, to actually install the package readxl. Okay. So I'll go to the one which is already there. So again, let's see whether this will work. It's an xlx file, and we want to export it as a .csv. I don't know why this may be the reason why some files are always corrupted. So let's see whether we'll have. I want it to HIV data clean. Maybe I can add the name new so that you can differentiate it from the other one. So let me run that. Yes, it is loaded. And this one. So let's go to my desktop and see whether we have another file which is called HIV data clean new.csv. Okay. If we go there, yes, it is there. There's this file here, HIV data clean new.csv. Okay. So that is also so you can use export, you can use write CSV, but for my usage, I actually find the export function from Rio is efficient. And it's versatile enough because you can have as many extensions as possible. Then let's see. So that is one of the ways that we can export our files or write our files. So once you're in this you're in an environment here, you can work on your data, you can manipulate it the way you want, and you can save it in whichever a place you want by using the export, write CSV, write XLSX, and all those functions. Okay. So now you can have different versions of the file which you have worked on and save them as many times as you want. Okay. But know that if I for this, like this one, HIV data 4, if I make any changes and save it, if I come to run line 7 and line 8, it will overwrite what I've already saved there. So it's normally good that if you want to maintain some previous versions, just give it a different file name here, and it will save for you as a different file. Google Sheets. Yes. We can also read files from Google Sheets. Okay. And why is Google Sheets important? Because nowadays you see people say, oh, I'm sending you a link to a Google Sheet. You fill your data, you give us your email, your age, your place of work, telephone number, and etc. Okay. It is also important that we know how we can read data from such sources. Okay. Now, Google Sheets has another element to it. Even if we want to read data from Google Sheets, it has an element to it because the element I'm talking about is authentication. Remember, Google Sheets are linked to email accounts of specific people. So what normally happens is that there's this package which is called Google Sheets 4. This Google Sheets 4 is a package that you can install. And once you install, if you have a specific URL of that Google Sheet, you can use that URL. But what Google Sheets 4 will do, it will prompt you to some few steps of authentication, because number one, you must have rights and privileges to access that specific data. Okay, so just a confirmation that you have the rights. Okay, but that is facilitated by this Google Sheets 4. Okay, so you can again come here if you really want to read data from Google Sheets. You just click install and look at where, yes, there's that one, Google Sheets 4. So you can click Google Sheets 4, install the dependencies, and install it. It's I think it's a big file, so you can look into it and install it. I think I've already installed it in my computer. Google. Yes, I already have it here. Okay, so you can come here and say library Google Sheets 4. I also have another. There's also another one that you can use that is used to link Google Drive. Okay, but both of them contain APIs that that are supposed to help you to authenticate whether you have permission to use that data set or not. Then that is Google Sheets. So usage of it is that you just say read sheet, and then you give it the path where that data is. Okay. Then once you run this this line, you will be prompted. You'll be prompted to give details as to whether you have the rights to access that file. Then another useful package is what is called Google Drive. Okay. And both of them, Google Sheets 4 and Google Drive, they have functions that can be used to write, to edit, and also delete elements in that data set. Okay. Okay. So I think that that will bring us to the end of this module. That is data importation and how we can actually export data. And we have looked at several techniques. So first of all, as I mentioned last week, is that as I mentioned last week, we started on using the interface. We have looked at read table, how we can actually use the read table function. We also looked at the options that come with read table. Then we also looked at read CSV. So you've seen now when I was I used the write.csv. Now the read CSV is when you're importing. The write CSV is when you're exporting that that data. Then there's actually also a write CSV too as well. Then you can also read data from websites. So this one, the importation from URL or websites, you can link that with what we just saw the last just a few moments ago. That is on the reading of Google Sheets into R. We also looked at RDS, and the beauty of using the Rio package as well, reads.rds. Okay. The Rio, so we've looked at the Rio package and the paths. For paths, we have looked at file choose inside the import. We've also looked at giving the absolute paths to the location of that file. Then we also looked at using the here package and the here function inside the as an argument in the import function. Okay, and we've said that in some cases we may discourage the using of full paths, because if you are to share that script, then the other person goes to run that script the way it is in his or her computer, they're likely to actually have a break in the execution, just because you use the full file paths, which may be different between the two computers. Then reading of different sheets, we also looked at that. And then using the readxl package. Then exportation, using the write CSV and using the export. And finally, using Google Sheets. Okay, Google Sheets. Yes. So let's see whether there's a question. Oh yes. Thank you, Mary J. So as I've said, if there's no any other question, there is a quiz which will be there for this module. So please go and try to do that quiz, because you'll need greater than 80% for you to to proceed towards the end and get the certificate. Otherwise, as you're doing the practice, if you come across any difficulty, please don't hesitate to reach out to us in the discussion section in the R for Fun page. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any question, and we'll be glad to get back to you and reply to your questions. So otherwise, that brings us to the end of this module. Now that we know that we have imported our data, yes. Now, what is the next step? What do we do with that data? Okay, that will be the next module, which will be on manipulation of that data. What can you do with that data? You have it, yes, you have loaded it, you have imported it, it's in your R environment. Now, what do I do with it? Okay, that will be, I will not preempt the elements in the next module, but that will be covered in module 5.